Hi guys, welcome to today's lesson. We're going to be looking at some angles in parallel lines. So far we looked at a few angles, which I might just recap on. You've looked at straight angles, or angles of a straight line. Can also be called supplementary angles, which equal 180 degrees. We looked at vertically opposite angles, which are equal. And we've already looked at angles at a point, which equal 360 degrees. Okay, so we're looking at some angles within parallel lines. So before we actually look at the different types of angles, let's look at what are parallel lines. Hopefully you remember that parallel lines are two lines that will never meet, often denoted by little arrows there. Okay, so they're called our parallel lines. Now, often when we have parallel lines, we have another line that goes through those two parallel lines, which then create a number of angles. And actually, it creates 4 on the top parallel line and 4 angles on the bottom parallel line. That line that goes through the parallel lines, although it's not particularly important, we can call that the transversal line. The transversal line. And when we have these angles in parallel lines, there are, I guess, 3 main types of angles in parallel lines that we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at ones called alternate angles. We're looking at corresponding angles. And we'll also be looking at co-interior angles. So let's look at the first one. I'm going to draw. They don't look too parallel, do they? I'm going to put little arrows there. Sometimes they won't look parallel, but as long as we've got those lines in there, we know they're parallel. I'm going to draw my nice transversal through there to create some angles. So the first one we're going to look at are alternate angles. Now, alternate angles in parallel lines are equal. That's the ruling for this particular angle. They're called alternate angles. That sort of double line there means parallel lines. So if we have parallel lines, in which we do, because it's denoted by those arrows there, we know the alternate angles are equal. So let's have a look at what the alternate angles are. I'm going to use a little dot here to represent this angle inside there. The alternate angle is in between the parallel lines, but on alternate sides of that transversal. This sometimes is called a Z angle, because if you follow where the angle makes there, as you can sort of see there, it kind of makes a Z. So we've got the 2 yellow ones there, but also not just those 2 there, we also have 2 more alternate angles on the opposite side there as well. So alternate angles in parallel lines are equal. Again, they're between the parallel lines, but on alternate sides of that transversal. The next one we'll look at is going to be our corresponding. So I'll put my little transversal through there. So we know that corresponding angles in parallel lines are also equal. Again, that's the rule that we use when looking at corresponding angles. So let's see what corresponding angles are. Well, corresponding means in the same position. So if I've got my little angle there, denoted by that little dot, the same position means it's on the same side of the transversal, and in this case, it's sitting on top of the parallel lines. So I'm going to draw another angle there, which is corresponding. This sometimes can also be called the F angle. So it kind of looks like an F, I guess. Okay. Again, you can have lots of different corresponding angles. I could do another one here, and underneath there, this time they're on the same side as the transversal. This time they're both underneath the parallel lines. I could do some more on the other side as well. I could do one on top on the left-hand side, on top on the left-hand side, and I could also do we'll do one with a hollow dot, both on the left-hand side, but both underneath the parallel line. So they're called our corresponding angles. Now the third angle I'm going to look at is our co-interior angles. And this one is slightly different to the two that we're looking at. The ruling is that co-interior angles in parallel lines are supplementary. Now, do you remember what supplementary means? Hopefully you remember that supplementary is like a straight angle, which means it adds up to 180 degrees. And I might put that just there, so you've got that there in brackets. Okay, so what are co-interior? Well, if you're an interior decorator, okay, you are concerned with the inside of a house, or the interior of your car, the inside of your car. So when we look at the co-interior angles, often co means two, or more than one. You can see here, oh, I shouldn't have used that dot actually. I'm going to use a little cross there. So they're both on the inside of the parallel lines on the same side of the transversal. Okay, not the alternate sides, obviously that's alternate angles. Now you might notice that I've used the dot and the cross because these two angles are not equal. We know that these two dots add up to give 180 degrees. In other words, find out what that dot is and the x is. They're going to add together to give 180 degrees. This sometimes is called the C angle. If I follow the lines there, it kind of looks like a C. So we've got some co-interior angles on that side. We've also got some co-interior angles on that side. You know, so I can use the x's because they're alternate, the dots are alternate, but they're going to add up to give 180 degrees. So they're my three main angles. I guess also probably worth mentioning that, you know, I could look at also some vertically opposite angles because there's two straight lines. Okay, remember the two straight lines where we've got vertical opposite. So we've got the two x's and the two dots. So we could use vertical opposite angles. We could also use the angles on a straight line, saying that they're 180 degrees as well. So there's different lots of angles that we can use. So what sort of questions would you get with this? Okay, a very common question, very easy question might be looking like something like this. Might give you that 60 degrees and that's x. And they'll say find x giving reasons. Okay, so all I'd say in this case is x is equal to 60 degrees, okay, because they are alternate angles in parallel lines are equal. Okay, I've got my answer there. So that's a very easy or very basic one for the alternate angles. A second example, I might use a different color pen there. Be like this. You know, you might have x there, you might have y there, and you might have 110 degrees here. Put my little arrows on so that they are parallel lines. So what can we do here to find the value of x and y? Well, I might find the value of y first. I'm going to say that y is equal to 110 degrees. Why? Because they are corresponding. They're both on the right hand side of the transversal, both underneath the parallel line. So y equals 110, and in brackets I'm going to put corresponding angles in parallel lines are equal. Always remember to put your rule. And then I can say that x is equal to 110 also because they are vertically opposite angles. And I've proved both my x and my y. They certainly can get a bit difficult, guys. They can use a combination of corresponding, alternate, co-interior, even the vertically opposite as you saw in that question, and even straight lines as well. Lots of different ways. Most important part is find the value of your letter, but always follow up with the reasoning as well. I hope this was useful to you guys. If you need some extra help, please let me know. Otherwise, hopefully you're an expert on alternate, corresponding co-interior angles in parallel lines. Have a great day.